All right, so we're doing an update. I have been on the carnivore diet for 4 full months, 120 days. And during those 120 days in the beginning, I was experimenting a little bit more with what I might want to eat, what I could eat, having a couple of, setbacks, eating the wrong kinds of foods, until eventually I settled into a routine. Now, over the first 60 days, I also did not weight myself. So I did not have a actual starting weight, but I had, of course, how I feel at my closing as reference points. And in some of the older videos, you can definitely see there's some difference there. Finally, at the 90-day mark, I brought out a scale, and that scale read 353.8 pounds. Okay, so I do finally have an actual reference mark. You have to remember, in the beginning of a diet, you're gonna be losing a ton of weight. Most of it is actually water waste, right? It's water leaving your body. When your inflammation starts going down, your water retention goes down. So I don't even consider that kind of weight loss real or true weight loss. You'd have to do a diet for 2 months, 1 to 2 months, just to get to the point where you're actually losing real weight, where you really work on your fat reserves. That's why I didn't do any kind of measuring beforehand. So now, from day 90 to day 120, which was 3 days ago, what have I done? What have I been eating? And what I've been drinking? All right, it's technically the 2 food categories. So for food, I have been eating, for the most part, ground beef, 80-20 mix, butter, eggs, usually as one part of a meal. Then as an additional one, sometimes I would have hot Italian sausage, or I would still go to a supermarket to have maybe a supermarket rotisserie chicken. Some people are very critical about that. They don't like what they may or may not be putting onto the chicken, but this is what I have been doing, right? Additionally, I have been on occasion to McDonald's. And I know what you're going to be thinking right now. I was like, well, that is not a diet at all then. So when I go to McDonald's, I usually get one of 2 things. I get either the 1/4 pound beef patties just by themselves. So I would get like 6 or 7 of those. And usually I bring a stick of butter with me, because they really cook all of the fat and moisture out of those beef patties. So when I bring the stick of butter with me, I'm adding moisture back into it, but I'm also adding the fat content that I need to consume. So that would be one that I might be getting. And then more on the rare side, I was getting, my local McDonald's had triple cheeseburgers at a really good price. And if you take the bun off and all the condiments, and it's just meat and cheese, that was a really good deal. And again, it's a meat, and the cheese adds kind of like a fat component to it. Besides, it's delicious. And I'll eat that with a fork and a knife, because it's no longer a burger, right? But I wasn't doing that all the time, right? But I would switch around between the things. And once in a while, I would go to a supermarket, especially if I felt like a little craving at nighttime. When I was on my way home, just before bed, I would buy a bag of cooked sliced chicken breasts. There were different flavors, grilled and this and that. So one bag is like 8 ounces. I would get 1 or 2 depending on how hungry I feel. I check the labels. Technically there should be no sugar in there or no carbohydrates, so this is fully within the realm of the carnivore diet. Okay, next to the beverage group, what did I do on beverages? I do drink water on occasion. right? I just got a couple of cases of water. However, I am very heavily addicted to Diet Coke. I work nights. It's easy to get tired. I have to be hyper aware and focused all night long because I'm driving a taxi in New York City, and I simply can't afford to either fall asleep or just anything like that. So I've been drinking diet soda and Red Bulls for caffeine content. I know it's not good. It's not healthy at all. More disturbing on that aspect though is the addiction to aspartame, which is a sweetener in diet soda. I believe that is a real addictive chemical. I've weaned off from it before I started this job, and I was essentially away from diet soda for over 2 years. And I remember the first 2 months, they were like hell because that chemical just like played havoc in my brain, even so I wasn't consuming it anymore. So yeah, that's probably one of the main negative things. But then we had Thanksgiving last month, and for Thanksgiving my food was good. I had bacon and eggs, and actually had some sliced turkey. Nothing else on it. But what I also did, I had a bottle of Baileys, and over a 3-day period I drank that. So that was probably my main food cheat item. I did not really cheat in any other form. Okay, so this is what I've done over the last 30 days. And knowing that, also knowing I don't really exercise, how much have I lost? Now, today is Tuesday, and we are 3 days past the 120-day mark. I'm only putting this video together now. I did actually, on Saturday of last week, I did film a short segment where I was actually weighing myself, and I was even using a new way of measurement, which is a measuring tape. The one that tailors and seamstresses use, right? So I could, measure the circumference. Sometimes, because this is important, you may not lose a lot of weight, but you can still lose size, right? Because like if you gain muscle while losing fat, muscle is denser than fat is. And so you could actually hold on to weight, even gain weight while you're getting smaller. Now, at my size, probably not that important yet, but it's good to start having reference points, and so I added some measurements into that. So let's take a look at first the quick clip from day 90, so you see what my weight was back then, and then I'm gonna go into the clip that I filmed for day 120. So let's take a look at what the scale is saying. Yeah, there we go. So here we go. There it is. And now there it is. It's on and it's zeroed out. I know I'm wearing shoes, but it's gonna be the consistency. 353.8. Okay. Here we are. We're gonna do additional measurements. Cold. 60 inches. 49.5 inches. But this is 52 inches. Next comes a weight. So, alrighty, so looks like we are down 10.2 pounds. That is most certainly a little bit less than I had hoped for, or quite a bit less than what I had hoped for, but I don't think it's that unexpected. If I was continuing at this rate, in a year from now I would be at 220 pounds, which actually would sound like a kind of quick timeline, because at 220 I'm like, you know, very close to my ideal weight. I'm 6'4" after all. But also 10 pounds, that is 2.5 pounds per week. It's not that bad, right? It's not excessive, it's not slow. It's I think it's fairly reasonable, actually. Also, we did a poll. You remember we did a poll? I started the poll, I think, on Thursday or Friday. Thursday, Friday, one of those days, and I did a screenshot of it so we can see what people are posting. What were they guessing? All right, so as we could see in that little poll clip, we had one person thinking I might be losing 10 to 15, and 3 people I would be losing over 15 pounds. That's quite interesting. We just barely made the 10-pound mark. I guess people were hopeful for better results. I was hopeful for better results too, I can tell you that. But also, you know, in the beginning of a diet, you lose a lot of weight so quickly from that water weight, right? So you see and feel instant results, right? And the results start to slow down eventually, which is why it's so important that we start taking measurements so we can actually measure our success. I did not really feel I was losing any weight over the last 30 days. It did not feel in the weight, it did not feel in the clothing, it did not feel like it in any other improvement. I had no feeling of having lost weight at all. So I have to trust that I'm actually losing weight. So could that little bit drinking from Thanksgiving maybe slowed it down by a pound or 2? Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say, right? But yeah, so I didn't really think I lost much weight. if any at all. I would not have been surprised if I would have gained weight, right? That is because I just couldn't tell the difference, right? But I'm glad I lost 10 pounds. And for all of you who guessed the right number, the one person, awesome. For all of you who guessed the wrong number, thank you for participating. And you never know. Maybe next time it will be better. Maybe I'll be losing more. I don't know. We'll see. So this was the conclusion of 120 days, 4 full months, carnivore diet, weight loss. I'm down an additional 10.2 pounds, and we are just gonna continue, right? At this point, we have some real numbers that we can put to it and look forward to the future and just see how the numbers keep changing. And like I said, if I continue at 10 pounds a month, in just a year from now, it will only be 223, right? So that would be kind of awesome. And for anyone who's doubting that the carnivore diet works, the only thing I can say, try it. Try the carnivore diet. It's not gonna hurt you. There's so many celebrity and fat diets out there. You just need to go to the supermarket checkout lane, right? There's all these magazines. There's always 1, 2, or 3 that have this lost 500 pounds by this new special diet out of Hollywood. Not saying that those don't work for the short run or whatever. Don't crucify the carnivore diet because you don't want to believe. It works. I can imagine, right? Just from my imagination by itself, I can imagine that you could have 2 people, one being very successful with a form of a vegan diet, and the other one being very successful with a form of a carnivore diet. And if they switch diets, maybe it would no longer work for them. I'm a firm believer that things like that are possible, right? What is the best diet? What's the optimum diet? What is the most traditional diet? What's the diet of the future gonna be? I don't have a clue, honestly. But if you're overweight, what do you have to lose except for weight? If you don't try, you're not losing anything. So you might just as well try something out, right? And you can try different diets. I would rather say, turn your diet options into 3 categories. The more vegan direction, the more central, which is let's say traditional food choices, and then the more meat-based section, right? Try something that is in each one of these categories, and then see which one is the easiest for you, which will also get you the best results, right? Because I know for myself, when I started 120 days ago, I said to myself, I can try this for 30 days. If nothing else happens, right? I'm not gonna gain weight more than I've been gaining before, right? At a minimum, that would be the worst case scenario. And in neutral scenario, I might be staying stagnant in my weight. And in the best case scenario, I'm losing weight. And that is really why I love the carnivore diet, because I'm losing weight, but it's actually a diet that I can follow. I'm not feeling deprived of food. I eat when I'm hungry. I eat as much as I want. I'm just eating meat. Today, what did I have today? Oh, you know what I had today? I had 2 batches of 6 eggs today. So far, that's been my food. I'm not sure if that's gonna be enough, but so far, that's been my food. I might be able to live on that for a day or 2. Just a dozen eggs. Oh, and butter, of course. Always have to have butter and a little bit of salt. But if a diet that you cannot stick to, becomes useless the moment you no longer stick to it. And the earlier this moment is in the diet, the worse it is for you, because you're not getting the results. And that's, to me at least, different with the carnivore diet. You know, it's like I can eat meat all day long. No cravings. No snacking needed. I'm loving it. So, this is it. 120 days carnivore, 120 days of weight loss. I'm down an additional 10.2 pounds. And we'll see the next update in 30 days when we have the 5 months mark. Alrighty, stay tuned, have fun, do what's right for you, and I'll see you all out there.